Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
All right, I'm going to give you from the judicial perspective, which is pretty cool because I actually get to have interaction and contact with victims of human trafficking. So I come here today from kind of the other side. I see what you're doing here, the laws you're enacting on Teresa's behalf and the other folks from Dayton. And then down in the municipal court, I get to see it happening. So let me give you just a quick history, and then I want to leave you with some hope and some encouragement about how great your efforts are actually taking place in real life. Number one, as a judge, I see a lot of things in court. And in 2008, I started to notice that there was a sort of a disturbing thing going on, and that was that women were being sold and brutalized by individuals. And then they were getting arrested for committing a crime known as prostitution. Well, thanks to the support of the judges of the Franklin County Municipal Court, I looked around and said, hey, let's start a special court to see if we can figure all this out. We had a mental health court, we had a drug court, and I found that survivors or victims of human trafficking not only have those two components, but they have an additional one. They have a traumatic component that needs to be treated first and foremost above everything else. So we go at the trauma, we go at the depression, and we go at the alcohol and drugs that they've been a part of has been forced on them. So we were able to start that, and then in 2011 you enacted your first human trafficking law. And then 2012 you came along and enacted the other law that was much more advanced. And I hear there's another one under the way right now. But really this kind of started my stump speech of when does a defendant become a victim? And so I go around all over the place talking to judges and lawyers, and I got the statutes right here. And a human trafficking victim, I don't know if you know this, or you care to know, probably not, but a human trafficking victim in Ohio is defined as an individual who's recruited or transported and then compelled to engage in sexual activity for hire. Now, engaging in sexual activity for hire is also the same language under the prostitution statute that's illegal. So what do we have here? We have every single human trafficking victim in Ohio also could potentially be a defendant of an age-old statute that has put upon them a scourge. So because of the laws that you've enacted and the support you've given, that's given me the platform with which to go forward and say, hey guys, let's start to figure out which is which. And I've been able to talk to people about this. And we have been working with our local officials now, and I was on the phone with Rick Pfeiffer. I don't think he's in the audience right now. He'll be there later on in the day. I was talking with him yesterday because we're doing some things locally on how to identify the scope of this problem. And we started out by saying, yes, maybe it's just in a couple of hotels, and we got to clean those hotels up. And we did search warrants and other things to try to figure this out. And Rick Pfeiffer himself said yesterday, quote, this problem is everywhere. And in my court, I've got people from Dublin, Worthington. I've got girls from everywhere there is. And they're in that court, all with this same issue. So I also want to also let you know what the outcome of your work has been, and I hope that I leave you with some inspiration to keep the hard work up. Now, as a judge, I get to see it every day, so I want to share it with you. Part of what we do in catch court is we take the victims and we educate them as to what it is they've been through, so that when they become free, they're not just free physically and literally, but they become free psychologically from the imprisonment that they've been under. And so today, here in the audience with me, I'm extremely honored to have 5 representative graduates of the catch court, and let me just give you one sentence about each one. We've got Vivian here, She was our first experiment and our first catch cord graduate. Today she celebrates 5 years and 23 days sober. She's engaged to be married to a wonderful man that I have approved. And that's true. She volunteers in the women's prisons, and she works part-time for Freedom a la carte. There's Vanessa P. here in the audience, who now has full custody of her son, and she also has a full-time job at our courthouse. That's an incredible story, folks. We also have Vanessa C. here, who is in college and on track to receive her degree, but she works now full-time at the very first government-sponsored home to treat human trafficking individuals right here in Columbus. Her mentorship of these women will be critical to their success, and I hope that this model continues to replicate itself. We then have Julie H., who, based on a law that you enacted last year, became one of the first, if not the first women in the country to step forward, she's a catch cord graduate, and come into court and not be a defendant, but to leave victorious and to be declared a human trafficking victim by a court and have all of her records expunged. Yes. We also have Barb Freeman, who is a catch cord graduate, almost or probably 5 years sober, and this year she just received the YWCA Woman of Achievement Award. And as you know, Freedom a la carte made all the food provided here today, and they employ 10 to 15 either current or graduated catch cord women. So please, as Liz told you, if you haven't paid your money for your lunch on the way out, please give it to the ladies on the way out, which will only go to continue to help them. Now, I've been 27 years in this business now. And the reason I know that is because I put this tie on this morning, and I bought this tie when I graduated from law school. And you know what? It's back in style. And I've never seen any phenomenon like this. I've never seen a group of individuals like this. And everything that you do, I mean, they're graduating the program, they're getting jobs, they're volunteering, they're going to college, they're getting valid driver's licenses, they're paying taxes, they're being reunited with their families, they're giving back to their communities. It's way beyond just saving lives and not having new crime, folks. This is something that I can promise you. When you go into the polls, when you talk to people, please reach out. The more that you can do to help these women and girls and protect our women and girls, I can tell you that it's nothing but the best effort that you can give and that I can give. And so I want to thank you for having me here today and for your efforts in this great movement. Thank you.